Hello and welcome to the Ampersand podcast, where two things can be true at once, and where we examine the ampersands in every situation and circumstance. I am your host, Aubrey O'Shea, and I am happy to be here. Am I happy about this conversation? Hell no, because we just gonna get on into it. We gonna get on into it, and I don't even know what to call today's topic, but what I'm gonna talk about is something that has thoroughly offended me today. And maybe some of you know what I'm talking about or have had a similar experience. So let's get into it. Tonight, I was invited to a kickback by one of a friend. And I kind of hesitated right there because sometimes you think people are your friend and then they jump a little stupid or do something a little fugazi. So, but I will say that I will concede that we are friends as far as I'm concerned. And as far as he's told me, I'm just like, okay. He hit me up and was like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And I'm like, "Nothing, just chilling, whatever." And he says that two of his friends kidnapped him. Not literally, but you know how some people like take you and just take you on a fun field trip day and stuff like that because he had been out of town for a while on business and he came back. And I'm just like, okay. Uh, Thing is, I didn't even know he had returned. Thing is, while he was gone, I optioned to, just check, survey his house, and stop by, get the mail if he needed anything, because that's the type of friend I am. So I would think that when you got back in town, you would at least be like, "Oh, I made it back. Thanks so much," or something like that. So I was kind of like a little surprised. I'm like, "You back?" And I was like, "Well, I'm glad you made it back safely." And he was like, "Yeah." And then he was like, "We're just at the house hanging out or whatever." And he was like, "You're more than welcome to come by if you want." So I said, "Bet. Oh, of course, I would love to come through. Like, I'm glad it's good to see that you're inviting me out somewhere. Like, that's cool. Like, I'll come, of course." So I head there, get a shower and stuff like that because today has been a long day. Okay, get a shower, head over there, and everything is cool. The two people that are there, I'll call one of them singer because he is a professional artist and stuff like that. He got music out and all of that stuff, and he's a pretty cool guy. And the second guy, I'll call producer because he so-called produces stuff for these big streaming companies and all of this stuff. Now, I cannot I cannot tell you what the last thing this nigga has done, but that ain't none of my business. So we got singer and producer there. And producer, for one reason or the other, his energy was just very kind of off. Like, have you ever met somebody that doesn't seem to like care for you too much, but they kind of just like put up with you, like, "Oh, hey, you, hey," like, don't "oh, hey" me, and then giving a little weak ass hug, like, "Baby, I don't want that. No, thank you." And I was just like, what is going on? And in my spirit, I was like, this boy don't like me. And I met him on several occasions, and his energy on those occasions were solid, but I feel like tonight's energy was a little askewed. And I'm just like, what is that about? And in my spirit, I was like, this boy don't like me. But I just attributed it to maybe he was high because all three of them were high. They all took some edibles or some bullshit like that. But I think they were kind of like coming down by the time I got there. I don't really like to smoke, so I did not partake in one at all. I rather drink. So I got me a little drink or whatever and sat my ass down and just kind of chill. And I kind of put that to the side because, people will be people. Some people have their days, some people don't. But I was just like, okay, put that in my little back pocket. So we ended up all talking and stuff like that, whoop-de-doo. And then I told my friend, I love the way you make your salmon, man. Are you got any salmon to make? I actually will pay you to make some. And he was like, no, of course not. You don't have to pay me. The third person is we're gonna call friend, okay? So we got friend, we got singer, and we got producer. Y'all keeping up? So friend made me. He started making some salmon and stuff like that. I'm like, okay, babe. And I'm just like, that's really beautiful. Like, thank you so much. Like, I am a person that, food is the way to my heart anyway, but I love reciprocity, and I don't even really look for I scratch your back, you scratch mine, but I just love somebody who is full forward facing and has an open heart, because it makes me want to lean in and give more of myself. And I'm just sitting back thinking like, man, I'm thankful for this friendship, because it's really profound, and like, man, we really come a long way. When I think about it, I'm like, he's been very open to me about his past and his hard knocks and his shortcomings, and I'm just like, you don't really even have to tell nobody that. Like, I'm thankful that I was invited, like, to be in the interfold. That's cool. So I'm literally thinking this stuff while sitting on the couch and watching him prepare his food and stuff like that. I'm literally in a state of gratitude. So I get up and I make me a drink, and I hear them conversing about like brunch and saying like, "Oh, what are we gonna eat for brunch?" Like, I thought you was gonna, what you cooking for? I thought you was gonna be saving all this food for brunch tomorrow. And I'm just like thinking like, "Oh, they having brunch?" Like, I wasn't invited to no brunch, or he didn't mention anything about a brunch to me. And it doesn't seem like it was just something that was discussed at the house. It seems like it was something that might have actually even been planned or a forethought. Like, I'm just like, okay, but I didn't take it to heart, because I wasn't going to be able to go anyway. But sometimes I feel like I'm brought into the fold or to events to be the entertainment. Some of y'all know that I am a performer, entertainer, and my personality in and of itself can be quite like dramatic and entertaining or whatever, or adds levity to any type of environment if I'm feeling like it. Okay, so sometimes I feel like I'm brought in as like the monkey of the show. Do a little dance, do a little jig, and entertain us, monkey. Tell us a joke. Give us an amusing anecdote. But I don't have one. Shit. Why did the donkey cross the road? I don't know what to say. Like, sometimes I feel like I'm used just as a means of entertainment. And I just, I thought about them talking about brunch. I was like, okay, I wasn't invited to that. Because I'm never really invited to events outside of just like kickbacks, are never really invited to like things, like the things, you know what I mean, to where I have to like put on some nice clothes, and I've never really invited to those type of things. So nevertheless, the night moves on. The fish is in the oven, baby. So is the other stuff. And I'm just like, okay, bet, shoot, I'm gonna give me something to eat, baby. I'm about to eat and drink a little bit. So they pull out Uno. I'm just like, okay, I know I'm not the greatest fan of Uno, because it's boring to me these days. I'm like, baby, I'd rather play damn Clue. I'd rather play Candyland. Okay, who like to play Candyland and Clue? Why we always gotta play damn Uno? Like, I'm sick of that shit. I don't want to play. I don't want to. So we start the game, and I was about to say, nah, I don't want to play, but I just acquiesced. I didn't. I just picked up my cards, and I end up losing. But on the way to my loss, my friend is actually like winning and stuff like that, and the producer and singer, they're in the mix too, and producer made me pick up 8 cards, because he stacked plus fours. And I'm just like, nigga, how you gonna do me like that, producer? Damn, dude, god dog. And producer says, you ain't gonna help your friend out, friend. And he like, what you talking about, you? And producer was like, that's your teammate. Now, to me, we didn't have no goddamn teams. It was every nigga for himself. So friend says, no, that ain't my teammate. What you talking about? And in the same breath, in the same moment in time, producer says, what do you mean? You invited him over here to be your teammate because you were losing in Uno earlier. Nigga, what? And then singer corroborates that and said, yeah, he said he invited you because he wanted a teammate. He needed a teammate, baby. And then friend got up and was like, oh man, y'all wrong for that. And kind of got up and kind of like ran away, kind of like in a jokingly manner, because like, why would you tell him that? Like, man, that's fucked up. Y'all weren't supposed to say that. All of that happened in like a nanosecond. And what I did was I kept looking at my cards, and I just played it off like I did not hear what just happened, or I did not see that whole exchange happen. And if I'm gonna be real tonight, that shit really hurt me and it offended me. If you right now about Aubrey, y'all, a lot of stuff does not offend me. A lot of stuff does not hurt me. The big things you would imagine does not really faze me, but it's those little moments that you would think, oh, it's just a blip. Those little moments, it's almost like a rock in your shoe. Those little moments can throw off your stride. And it's the little things that people do that seem nonsensical, inconsequential. Those are the things that really upset my world and really bother the fuck out of me, because it shows me a grander problem at hand. I always listen to the pebbles. I don't wait till the boulder comes. The pebbles feel like a boulder to me, because in that instance, I was like, this is some fuck shit. This nigga invited me over here just so I could be his Uno partner. But then it's not like you told me that through the text message that you sent me, because I'm a type of dude that I appreciate honesty to the degree. If you would have texted me, bro, what you doing? If you ain't doing nothing, man, come over and get a bite to eat. Be my teammate at Uno, because I need to kick these niggas' ass. If you ain't doing nothing, you want to come kick it and be my teammate, come on through. Bet. Look, you say less. I ain't doing shit. Where the card said? How we playing? I can deal with that, but do not hit me up under the guise of, are you doing okay? Hey, how are you doing? What are you up to? I'm hanging out with these two guys. Like, I wish you were here. Why don't you come on through? I would love to have your company. I come through and you're very hospitable, making fish and doing this and doing. And I'm just like, oh, this is wonderful. And the whole time these other two people are in your company, knowing that I wasn't really supposed to be there in the first fucking place. I'm just an add-on. I'm an afterthought. I don't like being treated like that. And furthermore, I don't like being put into places to where I can be publicly embarrassed. Don't do that to me. Don't do that to me, man. That bothers the fuck out of me. That offends me. That hurts my fucking feelings. And it makes me want to just X you out of my life completely, because I don't get down like that. And this is what we talking about on the Ampersand today. Because I don't move like that. That's real wavy to me. I don't appreciate that shit in the fucking least bit. And if I examine Friend's history about the way he's conducted his life, about the way he's acted towards some of his friends and stuff like that, close friends, I'm like, how am I the exception? What are you saying behind my back? What subtle shade are you throwing towards me when I ain't really did shit to you? But hear me when I say this. God will illuminate those dark corners to where people are talking about you and whispering about you and saying certain things and acting certain ways. He will illuminate those places so bright, but it only comes in like waves, like whoo, and then it goes back dark. Whoo, goes back like a lighthouse almost. You know how sometimes the light circles around, but when that light comes to you and illuminates you, you got to be vigilant. You got to be rooted in the word. You got to be connected to something that is higher than the physical plane, because you're going to miss it. You're going to miss it. The spirit does not let us go into any place without already giving us the lowdown, the download on how the energy is. When we enter a room, we can, if you are spiritually in tuned, if you are an empathetic person, you can feel the energy in the room already. You know if something is off. You know if somebody really does not, their energy is not inviting towards you. And that's the way I was already feeling. I said, something ain't right, but I'm going to go along to get along. I did not know I was an afterthought. And it doesn't really bother me if I'm an afterthought. Like, people hit people up all the time because they're bored, or because they might need another player, or because this party is, let's invite. But one thing I don't want to be is fucking embarrassed and humiliated. I don't ever want to be in a space to where other people around me like, you weren't supposed to be here. No way. I hope you're enjoying your food. When I tell you, when I fucking tell you, that will make me leave you the fuck alone. I never want to be somewhere where I am tolerated. I want to be somewhere where the table is already spread, where my name is already on the card, to where people actually want to spend time with me. I want that. And I think that you all deserve that as well. You don't deserve to be in a place to where people begrudgingly embrace you. People just give you a little side. Hey, I want to be in the room with the full hugs, with the full embraces, to where people are actually excited to see your face. That's where I want to be. That's where I deserve to be. That's where you all deserve to be. I will not settle for anything less than that these days. I don't want to, especially when it comes to friends. When it comes to friends, and here's the kicker. I'm not an individual that can fake energy. I cannot, if I'm in a space and it throws my spirit up, I got to move. I got to leave. I cannot stay in, and I have adopted this principle. If I am emotionally uncomfortable in a room, not like socially awkward, because some place you're like, oh my God, this is so awkward, I kind of want to leave. But if my spirit is thrown off, I have to go. I must remove myself, because I am over staying in places to where I feel unsafe, I feel unwanted, and trying to make the best out of that situation. I'm not doing that anymore. That's too much of a load to bear. That's too emotionally and draining. Staying in a place when you really just want to knock the whole table over and be like, what the hell is going on? Because that's the type of energy I got going on. Like, what the fuck is happening right now? What are y'all? Let's put this shit on the table. If I'm feeling emotionally big like that, and I know it's not the time to have that conversation, I remove myself. Because if I don't remove myself, I'm gonna end up saying something that is unkind. I'm gonna end up expressing the way I feel in a not so good way. We're just gonna leave it at that. Because I will tell y'all, my intuition be on 1,000. Some of y'all think, some of us overthink, but half of us overthinkers are like 95% right about the shit that we quote unquote overthink about. Because it's really the spirit telling us like, oh, this ain't right. Calling things out as they are, seeing the truth of what it is beyond the physical realm. But what I freaking do not want is to call out a situation in a particular environment and be gaslit and be made to feel like I'm crazy. I'm going crazy. Like, no, what are you talking about? That's not, oh, we were just joking. You were invited. We just said, don't lie to me. Don't gaslight me. Do not do that shit. I got an example. And I'm going to call this guy Dreads. So I met Dreads through like a mutual friend. He was at this event and stuff like that. We started kicking it. It was great. I did not like Dreads like that. He was a handsome guy, but just not, I wasn't interested. I really just wanted a platonic friendship. We could hang out, kick it, shoot the shit, bet. So we do that. So Dread eventually ends up inviting me to his friend's house for like a kickback after an event that we all went to. I was like, okay, bet, I'll come through. So I came, we all hung out. Dread's friend invited his best friend. We'll call him Airplane, because he works in the airplane field. So Airplane starts talking to me and stuff like that. We kicking it and, just chopping it up. And Dreads throws something at me, like a bandana or something like that. And he's looking real upset. And granted, Dreads has been drinking too. And when Dreads drinks, he becomes angry. And he becomes volatile and more hostile. So he exhibits this behavior. And I'm just like, bro, what are you doing? So I just kind of push it to the side. I ignore it. And I keep just chopping it up. So Airplane eventually gives me his number. Did I ask for it? Hell no. But I thought Airplane was a cute dude. I was like, okay, whatever, chocolatey. Okay, you better be chocolate. So after the kickback is over, we're all outside. And I'm just like, yo, Driz, why don't we all go over by your house and like watch movies and stuff like that? It was gonna be me, Dreads, and his cousin. We're gonna call him Baldy Waldy because he had no hair. Now, when we were talking outside of Dread's friend's place, I thought his energy was kind of weird because he has a jealous streak, and I'm just like, we are not to fucking together. Like, I need you to get over it, man. Like, we're not together. And we never fucked around, so that I don't know what would have given him the impression that we were an item. Because some people will like you and they'll want to place a tag on you and be like, you're mine. Like, nigga, no, I'm not. Just because I'm in your vicinity and hanging out with your friend, that does not mean that we're together. And then what they do also, they give people the impression that they're with you. So I finally arrived to Dread's house. Dread and Baldy Waldy are there in the house already, and the energy is weird. Remember what I told you about the spirit giving you an antenna to know, to feel the energy in the room, in a room that you enter. If you are inclined, if you are empathetic, if you are spiritually open and awakened, you can feel the energies of a room. I felt that shit. I said, something is going on up in here. I can feel it in my spirit. So I sit my ass down, and it's kind of weird. Very passive aggressive comments being made. I'm just like, okay. So I say, I'm going to the restroom. So on my way to the restroom, I'm like, I feel like going home, like, cause this energy is not copacetic right now. It's real. So while I'm in the restroom, I hear Baldy Waldy telling Dreads that, yo, just calm down. Don't make no scene. Don't mess up the night and stuff like that. And I hear Dreads be like, if I'm gonna mess up the night or something like that, if I ain't happy, he ain't gonna be happy. Some bullshit like that. That was very incendiary. And I'm just like, not you coming for me like that. I don't like, and I knew it was directed towards me because I'm telling you, the spirit will make you see what the flesh will try to hide from you in plain sight. And I was just like, I came out of that bathroom. I was like, you know what? I'm going to go. I'm not feeling that well. I'm going to hightail it. And the spirit that's in Dreads pipes up and be like, what do you mean? Where are you going? I said, yeah, I'm going to leave. I'm just not, I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling that well. I'm just going to go. I'm feeling like a little awkward. The energy is kind of weird. So I'm going to leave. I am not going to sit under any type of weird energy and have to press through that thing because I don't believe in doing that. I don't believe in grieving my spirit like that. I am a person that will get up and remove myself because I will not try to make a good situation out of bad energy. I ain't fucking doing it. I'm not. So I leave. He hits me up and like, that's very weird how you would acting like that and stuff like that. What are you talking about? Nobody's acting weird and there's no weird energy. Like, that's very whack for you to act like that. And I'm just like, no, that's just the way I felt. I felt uncomfortable. Whenever my spirit feels uncomfortable, I remove myself. So fast forward, we had a conversation on the phone. And this is when we had the official like friend breakup. And I asked him like, what was the reason for you to act like that? Why did your energy shift like that? And he made up this convoluted excuse. And I was like, was it really because I was talking to somebody else? Talking to that dude? He was like, no, it wasn't because of that. And whoop de doo. I'm like, okay, I'm the type of person, I'm going to accept what you tell me. But I know the spirit does not lie. So he said, nope, that wasn't the reason why. And I was in my own head and don't do that anymore. Like, I don't like the way you left for no reason. So we ended up reconnecting down the line. And I asked him again, I said, what was the reason that you were acting like that? And he confirmed what the spirit had told me. Are y'all keeping up? Because you know I'm bad about telling a story. So he was just like, yes, I was jealous because you were talking to that other guy. And I was like, I knew it. Why would you lie? For all of these years, why would you sit up there and make that shit up when it's plain as day? And we were in the club one time. I will never forget this. We were in the club and he had another friend, but with him, one of his closest friends. And I really do have a heart for his closest friend. He is so sweet. And he kind of handsome too. I was like, shoot, if Drez was so jealous, nigga, I fuck you. No, I wouldn't fuck him. So We were in the club and I was talking to one of Dread's homeboy's friends again. This happened before the little kickback party where he would airplane, y'all. We were hanging out and I was talking to this boy. We was really chopping up and having a good time. And a drink pours on me in the direction that Dreads and his friend are. And it took me aback and it also upset me heavily. Because I'm like, I know this motherfucker did not just spill a drink on me because I was talking and chopping it up with this other guy. And I still believe in my spirit that that nigga did that. And his friend was sitting right there, and his friend was probably like, man, why would you do something like that? And he tried to help me dry it off. So I'm sitting in the club now wet. And it got on my pants and stuff like that. My pants are wet. And I'm just like, I feel like that nigga did that to me. And he said that somebody bumped into him and that he was sorry that happened. He didn't do that on purpose. And I had to ask him in that club. I was like, did you pour that on me on purpose? Because that's what I felt like when I tell you the spirit does not lie. Overthinkers, if you are out there in the Ampersand universe, if you are an overthinker, and you are right, you're proven right, trust your intuition. It will not lead you wrong. People will lie to you. People will gaslight you. They will do this and they will do that. But your spirit is a truth detector. It's not a lie detector. It's a truth detector. It always examines and points out the truth. I'm telling you, for what it is, I believe that drink was poured on me on purpose. I knew that he was jealous and he had that type of rage in him towards me. I knew these things. When I got to friend's house, we backed over to the friend, producer, and singer. When I got to his house, I knew something was off. That's the truth. Something was off. I knew that producer had some type of weird energy towards me. The spirit don't lie. And what I just want y'all to know, trust your intuition. Your intuition will never lead you astray when it comes to certain people, places, and things, because at the end of the day, all of these people are spirits. We're not entertaining flesh and blood. We're not. It's spiritual warfare it's spiritual stuff going on out here. And I need y'all to be aware of that stuff. And I need you to exit places that do not align, that do not uplift the spirit. You exit those places. When I tell you my energy shifted when producer said that to me, and when singer corroborated that, I felt low. I felt ashamed. I felt played. No pun intended, because we were playing Uno. I felt embarrassed and like, wow, you really gonna do me like that? It almost felt like, have y'all ever seen those shows to where the cool kids like befriend like the geek or something like that, or the outsider, and they bring them into the fold and make them feel like accepted, just to like pull a prank and be like, we just want to see this or see that and see if you would be our friend, or just cruelty, just to put you out there like that, just to make fun of you. And the awkward person really thinks they have community, and the whole time they're the butt of a joke. And whether or not that statement was real or true coming from them, that's how I felt. And I know what they told me was true, because first of all, they had no reason to lie. And the way friend reacted to that information confirmed it to me. And it so happened so quick. And I decided to play it cool. I didn't react to it. And I saw that friend kind of looked at me for a little bit to see how I would react to that. And I just kind of just went into myself, and I just kept playing. And I was in my head, I was like, you know what? I think I want to leave now. I don't feel welcome. That's the thing. I didn't feel welcome. And I've dealt with that a lot in my life through being a survivor of sexual abuse and entering into a room where you know you're the topic of conversation and you're the black sheep, the pariah almost, because even though even though you weren't the only one, it's like all of it is about you. Like, yeah, that it just brings you back to a place of not belonging. And that's why I want to like reach out to people who who feel like that. And I want to embrace those people who feel alone, because I know the pain of not belonging and not having a home. And it means a lot to me. That's why I treat my friends like I treat, they say you treat your friends like you treat your lovers. I think that's just a curse and a blessing of mine, because I really do. I know what it's like to be ostracized, because I was made fun of as from a very young kid, and some things I think I, got rid of in my mind because it was painful. Being called gay and all of this and all of that, and not really having anybody that you can really lean on. And in that moment, it brought me back to that. And I don't like feeling like that. And then I'm in a space, before I'm in a space that makes me feel like that, again, I will leave and I will cut you out of my life, whether it was true or whether it was not. It should not have been done. Nobody should put you in a space to where you feel like that. It's unfair. I never want to feel like that. And I know life is, people are imperfect. I don't think friend wanted me to know that information, because he knew how it could be potentially received, and he knew that it could hurt my feelings, but it happened anyway. And I told him earlier in that day that I kind of had a little headache or whatever, and I got like a BC powder. So when I ate my food, I said, you know what, I'm going to eat my food, and I'm going to leave. So I got some food. It was cool. And I said, you know what, I'm going to head on out. I'm kind of not feeling that great. And he was like, are you okay? Like, he said, did Singer tell you something? And I looked at him. I was like, no, he didn't tell me anything. He was like, what's wrong? Like, what did Singer say? And I'm just like, Singer didn't say anything to me. And I said, I'm just going to leave. He was like, I got a little headache. He was like, well, if you had a headache, you didn't have to come. And I was like, no, I just want to see you, just make sure you was okay, because I hadn't seen him since he went out of town, you know? So I put on my shoes, I put on my coat, put my backpack on. I said goodbye to everybody, I embraced everybody, and I left. And it really occurred to me, like, why did friend ask me, did Singer say something to you? Because what would Singer even have to say that would offend me or that would make me want to leave? And that's the thing. Like, you have to listen. And sometimes I could be so unassuming and so jovial sometimes that people will play me for stupid. But I see way more than what I let on, and I hear so much more. than what I let on. And I just be chilling. I be saying a lot. I might go 100 miles a minute, but in the inside I'm still, there's something in my core that's very still, that's very watchful and observant. And I catch a lot of things, a lot of nonverbal cues, a lot of verbal things being said. And it just this experience just didn't sit right with me. It didn't. I am so grateful though for this experience because first of all, it creates content to talk about. Second of all, or another first of all, it lets me know that the people around me, it lets me know how the people around me really are. Because sometimes God will illuminate what people say around you or behind your back right in front of your eyes. Because people will give away their inner thoughts, those secretive conversations right before. You just got to listen. It's in between the sentences sometimes. You have to have a radar, man. Listen. Because sometimes what's said in those inner rooms, what's said when you're not around, God will let you know those things. And it's so wonderful to me that the person that I got that weird energy from, producer, he's the one that dropped that ball first. And I think when he said it, he just said it so, he just blurted it out so just haphazardly. It felt like almost an accident for him to even say that. Because I wasn't aware. We didn't even say, oh, we coming in with teams. Nothing of the sort. Nothing of the sort. And I'm just like, And then Singer co-signed it. I'm just like, this is true. And Friend did his little thing. Like, why would you say that? I'm telling you, I want y'all to know, don't be anywhere that you are not celebrated, that you are not wanted, that you are not welcomed. Another experience comes to my mind, and I'll be very brief about it, but it's another very singular moment in my life where I felt so unwelcomed. It was after Hurricane Katrina, and some of my family moved to my state, if you can read between the lines. And one of my cousins was having like a little get together at her house. So she actually could be older. She's old enough to be my mother, honestly. But my father is the youngest child, and all his siblings had children at younger ages. So some of his nieces and nephews are about the same age as him. So this is one of his nieces. So she invites all of us over, and I think it just happens to be me and my dad that go. And I'm not thinking anything of it. We go to her house, it's beautiful or whatnot, and she's cooking, and me, I'm like maybe 15, maybe 13. I don't know how old I am. I'm probably 15. And go in the kitchen, maybe look through the pots and stuff like that. And she says, you need to get your butt out that kitchen, and looking around, acting like you was invited. And I was just like, what? Now, my daddy was not in the room. He had stepped out. But I was just, what? So she waited to tell me that when he left, because she knew that she couldn't say those words around my dad like that. So what I did is I went outside. And I think I saw my dad in the truck or something like that. And I told him what she said. And he was like, don't worry about it and stuff like that. It'll be all right. I'm going to talk to her. And I was just really heartbroken because I'm like, I don't want to be here. And I really didn't want to go back in the house, but he had to kind of coax me to come back inside. Now, mind you, this is the same side of the family that I experienced my sexual abuse on. So it's always been like this strange type of strained relationship that I've felt sometimes with my family members on that side. I was the pariah almost, like the black sheep in a way I felt. So that was just another type of isolation, like othering, like you don't belong here. And the really strange thing is that when you've experienced something very traumatic, you have to sometimes train yourself to not view every incident that offends you through the lens of your trauma. And but that's hard. That is very hard when you are doing your best to fight the feeling of isolation, of unworthiness. It's something that I have to press through very often. And when I come in contact with situations like this or like the one I just told y'all about, it's hard for me. It's very hard for me. I remember I told my mom about it and she was pissed. She was like, "Don't go over by that girl's house no more. Don't, if you're not welcome, you don't go." And I was cool that I found refuge in her. And I wish I had found that refuge in my father, but maybe he didn't know what to say. But because of these isolating events, it causes me to be somebody to reach out and to be somebody that is embracing. And I envelop people who feel alone or who I perceive that are alone and that need a comforter. And that is what I always aim to be. Or maybe it's just what I show up as because I know that's what I was missing. My heart breaks for my younger self. Like if I could go back and hug my 6-year old self, I swear, and just let him know like it's okay. You're gonna be all right. You're gonna be all right. If I could just go back, I really would do that because I just couldn't imagine what I was going through, what I was feeling like. Sometimes with trauma, you block things out, but I don't know. It's very triggering, these feelings, and it's just hard sometimes pressing through. And when I think about my younger self, I just don't know, man. I wish somebody was there for me to really hold me and be like, it's gonna be all right, bro. You don't have to go through this by yourself. Just I didn't have anybody. The people around me that did love me and were my advocates were angry at the person who abused me. So it wasn't any time to see how I was. So I was always making sure people around me were all right to where it's not bothering me. So nothing bothers me. So y'all can be okay. I don't want to experience. I don't want to show you any like hard times or any grief or anything because it's going to make y'all angry again, and it's not going to solve anything. And if anything, it's taking away nurturing that I could benefit from. And it's just, I don't know. I think about my younger self, and I just, I just wish that I can make him feel cared for and welcome and a feeling like you belong here. No matter what you've been going through, you belong. So let's wrap this episode on up, y'all, because I, for one, am tired of crying. Like, I don't want to cry no more. Baby, call me Mary J. Blige. So let's examine the ampersands in each situation and circumstance, y'all. I know for one, the spirit can be telling you, your intuition can be telling you the truth about a situation, and you can feel diametrically opposed to what you're feeling. You can know this is what it really is, and you can feel like this can't be what it really is. So it causes you to kind of be in a paralyzed state to where you don't know whether to lean to the left or lean to the right. But what I say, trust your gut, trust your intuition, and examine how many times your intuition has led you on the right path. Another ampersand is you can feel uncomfortable in a situation and you do not have to stay there. You don't. You really have permission to leave. Because I found when I remove myself from situations that do not serve me or makes me feel spiritually uneasy is a form of self-care. Believe it or not. And I feel like our spirit is connected to the higher power, God. And when that spirit says get up and go, it's in your best interest to get up and go. Another ampersand for me would be people can be friendly and not be your friend. There is a difference, y'all. There's a difference. You got to know which people around you are friendly. That means they show a good face. They might even take you to the airport every now and then. But your friends will not talk about you behind your back. Your friends will not put you in a situation to where you feel less than and unwelcome in any situation. Your friends are going to advocate for you. They're not going to humiliate you or embarrass you. Your friends, they might even be or feel jealous at sometimes of your success, but what they won't do is demean you. They won't pop your balloon. They won't give you a clue of what they feel because they know that it's rooted in ego. They know it's rooted in something that is beyond them. They won't let that obstruct the friendship. Your real friends. People who are friendly. Oh baby, you get that raise. Why you got that? How you gonna get that? Like, are you gonna even be able to do this or do that now? You ain't even gonna have no time for you with all the extra. They gonna find something wrong with your success, with your promotion. Friendly people are not always your friends. I'm sorry, they just not. And you have to be able to decipher the difference. I hope y'all smelling what I'm stepping in. I may not be able to articulate it at the best of my ability because it's freaking late. But I hope that tonight or today you feel my heart and you go where the love really is. Do I believe that friend cares about me and actually does love me? Yeah. Do I believe that people can make missteps and not show up as their best self? Yes. Am I scared or apprehensive to even go back into fellowship like I used to with friend? Yes. Will I have a conversation about this issue with friend? Possibly. But what I do know for sure is, from this day forward, I am going where the love is. The true love. The true love. The true love. This has been Aubrey O'Shea with the Ampersand Podcast. And I hope y'all have been enlightened. I hope y'all find the ampersands and examine them in every situation and circumstance. And until next time, y'all be good.